Hello everyone. I just wanted to take a few minutes to show you the new data entry form that we've incorporated into Rover. One of the big goals of Rover 3.0 is to make it faster to add information, trying to minimize those transactions on the forms, like the clicks. That's been the mantra: eliminate clicks, eliminate clicks. And so we've made some substantial changes to the way that Rover captures information and how the data entry form works. And I just wanted to show you some highlights. So right now I'm going to go ahead and add a removal feature to the system. So the data entry form comes up, and you should notice some differences right away. We still have the labeling of the field up here, but then to make a choice, rather than hitting a drop menu and choosing the value in the list, instead we can just click a button to choose what we want. So if I wanted to mark this as full permission, for example, I can click the full permission button and it will automatically make that choice for me and then move into the next field. If I were to skip that field and go down to removal instructions, that's also the same way, where we have buttons that you just push. As I make these choices, it will automatically collapse that accordion and move on to the next one. Now, some data fields have more than just a small amount of choices. Like, for example, the species list. There's a lot of choices here, and we couldn't make a button for each one without it taking up the entire space. So instead, we've made what we're referring to as smart buttons. And so if I choose Ash here, and if I go back into that field, you'll see that Ash has been chosen, and I have a button here that says Ash. And what will happen is, as I make these choices, the buttons will automatically update to my last 4 most recent choices. So if I choose Buckeye, and if I choose this Black Locust, you can see how those 4 choices become active buttons, which I can then click to make that new choice. Now, if there's a species that's extremely common that you're running into a lot, and you want to lock that button in place, that's what this icon here is for. I can click this, and that'll make it so that this button will always be Ash no matter what. And so if I make another choice, you'll see how the Ash button stayed in its position, and then everything else moved down. So for longer pick list fields, we now have these smart buttons that can update as you're entering information. We still have the old pick list where you can scroll through, and we also have a option where you can start typing in the value that you want and then choose it from the list. So 3 different ways to add information through the smart buttons, through a drop menu like we're all used to, and then another where we can start typing in the value. Now, you'll also notice how in the removal size class, it's highlighted red. And the reason why it's highlighted red is because it's a real-time validation telling me that there's a choice required here based on my cleanup order. Removal size class is another one of those longer pick lists, so we have the 4 smart buttons. And if I drop menu this, you'll see that we have maintained the highlighting of red entries which would conflict with prior values, and green entries which would be consistent with prior values. So I'll go ahead and choose that particular value. It then automatically moves me down to hazard tree, yes, no, or imminent threat, the work type, roadside permit, ownership, and whether it's in a previously identified wetland. I can then hit the contact information to move on to the next tab, and just like before, if it's a field that's value is derived by a spatial join, it's highlighted in green, which corresponds with the green highlight of the feature that it's joining against. And I can go ahead and click this to make another choice if I wanted to. So we'll go ahead and associate this removal with the property across the street. You can see now it's associated with 4508 Poppy Place. And I'll go ahead and click that again to choose a different, choose the original one. The track ratings, these are all highlighted in red, so even the buttons will update if they are valid choices or not in their color coding. So in this case, those choices are all marked as red because this tree is not in a designated wetland, so track assessment is unnecessary. And then finally, the QA audit tab. Once all this information has been populated, I can hit the Save button. Down here, there's two of them. There's one at the bottom, and there's also one at the top. So the advantage of the one being at the top is to streamline that rapid data entry. So after that information has been processed and uploaded, I can go ahead and click in a next record. And now, if I use my load last, we've got it so that everything is very quickly accessible in this one spot for rapid data entry, and when you're done, you can hit the Save button. So some projects, you're dropping point after point after point, which are very similar to the prior point, and so the placement of these buttons all being very close together is to streamline that process and cut out that time that the user is moving their mouse down through the system. But we also have a Save button at the bottom, which would coincide with your normal data entry where you're working from the top down and you're already down here, so you hit the Save button. The other changes that we've made to this form is with the pictures. So if I expand down to Detail Picture and hit the Camera button, the image editor will come up, and I'll just go ahead and put this on a blank canvas, and we'll just mark up what we want to add. And let's change the color on that. And once I'm done, I can hit the Save button, and it will go ahead and allow me to put that, and you can see that we have a little thumbnail of the image that's embedded. So you'll know with certainty which picture is associated with this particular data field with that little thumbnail. And we're not limited to using the new canvas feature. We can also just go like we used to, right back to the camera, and there will be, my webcam should come up. You can see it there, and I'll go ahead and take my photo. Now, the other spot that we've streamlined the data entry, which I couldn't show on the removal layer because there are no numeric fields on that layer. But if I switch over to the replacement tree layer, there is a numeric data field. And so what we've done on the numeric data fields is we've made it so that you have a built-in keyboard right here. And so we can go in and we can start typing those choices into the menu. And we can clear it. We can go back to like 22. So here there's 22 tree count. And if you want to just increment or decrement it one at a time, you have that option as well. You can hit the minus button or the plus button. So the numeric data fields have a built-in panel where you can push the buttons rather than wrestle with the on-screen keyboard. And the rest of these being simple buttons. The last feature that I want to touch on is the comments and the changes that we've made to the comments field. So if I switch back over to the removals, and we'll add another removal. The comments is now, when you click on that, a new panel will open up where you can just directly enter your comments. And so here I can start typing with my keyboard. You still have the option to use the on-screen keyboard if you want, but we also have some short pick lists here that we can choose for preloaded values. And so this is something that we're going to set up for some of our projects, where if there's very common notes that you're frequently adding, then we'll make a list of those common phrases available here where you can just drop menu and choose them. And then there'll be short words as well, like conjunctions like and, or, but, and then the punctuation fields. So the idea with the longer text fields or the comment field is to just have like predefined phrases quickly available that you can use. Once you are finished editing it, you hit the save button and it loads it down here at the bottom. So that's a quick tour of the new data entry form. We're pretty excited about it. We think it's going to streamline data capture because we're eliminating those clicks. Please share any feedback or thoughts. I look forward to hearing your comments. Thank you very much.